Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kinda hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in to alternate ending. Tune in to alternate ending. Tune in to alternate ending. Tune in to alternate ending now. Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternating. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Rob Jarsinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer Carrie Jarsinski, and joining us via Zoom, our very own Rotten Tomatoes critic in resident, Tim Brayton.
Rotten Tomatoes critic in resident. Where did that come from?
I don't feel like we do enough a good enough job to share that you are in fact Rotten Tomatoes qualified, because people want to know why a critic in residence. Well, because Rotten Tomatoes says you're a critic. You're a critic.
Yeah, and he's certainly not selling himself as a critic on this podcast. So I'm glad you clarified that. I think that's helpful for the listeners. So I appreciate that,
Yes.
Rob.
This episode, we're going to be covering top 5 movies to see before you die. And I kind of feel a bit like dying because you two were off talking websites late in the night and came up with this topic. I had no involvement in it and was very confused right up until the recording of this episode as to how I would go about getting my list together. Because this could mean, I feel like, a number of different things depending on how you define you. Is you the individual you, the royal you? Am I dying? Who's dying? Is someone actually dying?
Who is the royal you?
Are you talking about you, meaning me?
I mean, we'll get there. That's part of your criteria.
What I'm saying. It's like this is going to be the fun of the discussion. So I didn't know what kind of list I was putting together right up until the end, so to speak. So we'll get there. But first, Tim, I thought I'd share a little bit. You've been quote unquote in the office for a long time, but I actually last week, for the first time in over 2 years, had the chance to head to Chicago, which is where my home base of work is located, and did the office thing, and it wasn't a requirement to go. I just kind of get the sense that as things are improving, knock on wood, for things related to COVID, that it's coming, and there will be some office visits happening again soon. So I wanted to get a head start and kind of get my bearings again, because I think just jumping straight into it on a normal work day without having the frame of reference was going to be really impact productivity. On Thursday, I woke up at 5 a.m. because Madison is roughly about 3 hours away.
Yeah, you never told me. How long did it take you to get there?
It was 3+ hours.
So was there a traffic once you actually hit Chicago?
There was traffic,
okay.
Yeah. So I departed at 5:45, and GPS was saying, "Hey, you're going to get there at 8:45." I was like, "Sweet!" I wanted to be in the office by noon. I wanted to also make a stop
to get breakfast
at Panera for
Panera.
Well, where else would I be stopping?
Panera.
Where do you stop? You stop at Panera.
Got us in the baker.
Oh, I'm not going to wait till 9:40 or 8:45.
I let myself get where I'm like ill because I'm so hungry and weak, and I'm about to steer off the road. But I will wait for got us in the baker.
There are a couple factors that went into why I decided to get Panera. The first factor being, Tim, I don't know if you know this about me, but I have really one functioning kidney.
I think I did know that, actually.
Yes. So my ability to hold liquids for an extended period of time is very minimal.
You always say that, but I feel like, isn't that your bladder?
It's a function of bladder and kidney.
It's the whole system of piping.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's legit. It's not.
So what's happening is there's a backlog of that my kidneys are working through, and then eventually gets into my bladder. So I may feel like, oh, I'm relieved.
Yeah.
And then the kidneys are holding on because they're really slow in processing some things. So this is a lot of information for the listener.
For sure it is. Yeah.
But so part of the reason for the Panera stop is because it's on the way. It's closer.
You
so
tinkled
I
on
get
the way. Sure.
Yeah. I took care of myself in Yeah, in the restroom situation, not in any other situation, and grabbed myself a healthy breakfast and went on my way. I made sure not to get a super large coffee because I still had a ways to go. I still had 2 hours left to go.
Okay.
And
you didn't do what I think you did.
8:45.
8:45
rolls around. Now GPS is now saying 9 o'clock, and then it's 9:15, and all because traffic is now starting to grow in Chicago. And it's not so much like I had a specific arrival time, but I did have to go again. The coffee was working its way through my kidneys, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try to push. I don't like stopping multiple times. It's just the one stop.
Of course.
So I make it to the car garage or the parking garage, and I think I've reached my capacity of being able to hold.
You can say it. No one's listening. Was it starting to leak? Were you leaking?
Not at that particular moment
yet.
when I pulled in. Okay. There was a little bit of so I get to the garage.
Sure. I
know I'm not going to make it to the office or to a restroom.
Yeah.
And so a decision needed to be made is how am I going to relieve myself?
Absolutely.
And what's the optimal way?
It's critical.
So really I want your feedback, Carrie, first. As a woman.
Yeah.
What would you, and I don't know if you've ever been in the situation where you've held it too long.
Oh, I have. Yeah.
Okay. What do you do in this situation? Like, you're not going to make it to a restroom. You're in the parking garage.
Yeah.
Go.
I wet my pants.
You just wet your pants. That's what you decide?
No, that's what's happened to me in the past.
So I did play out.
No, but I know what you did.
So no, I know you think you know what I did.
This is a story that's going in a very specific direction. I'm feeling very, very unhappy with it.
So I did play out the situation. If I urinated on myself, I'd have to stop at a clothing store.
Absolutely.
So in the situation that you're describing where you actually did pee your pants,
yes.
What do you do? What did you do?
So what happened was my dad had left me in the car for too long. I was like 10 or 12 or something. I don't remember ages. I was 5. I can't remember.
It was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago. And he left me he went into for like a job. He was like working and left me in the car. So I was just sitting there. I was too young to get out and like find a bathroom. So eventually I just wet my pants. So I think I just sat there. It wasn't great. My parents felt very bad.
This is like a theme of series of
your father
social
should
services.
have felt bad about leaving you in a car all day while he was at work.
Yeah,
I know.
With the engine off in the summer with the windows up.
Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? But yeah, so if it were me today, what I would have done is not be a lazy ass, and I would have stopped a second time.
No, but let's say
I've pushed.
Okay,
I've passed it.
Past that point, you've arrived, and all of a sudden you have an urge to go to the restroom.
I would have done what you did.
Okay,
and I would have urinated in the cup.
How do you urinate?
Oh, I urinate in cups all the time. It's very easy.
So Tim, how about you?
It's a public garage in Chicago. You just go into a corner and you pee in it. No one's going to know.
Please tell me you didn't pee in the
corner.
So
what I ended up doing was a combination of the two.
You peed in a cup.
Oh, because you overflowed the cup.
So people always tell me that like your bladder can only hold a certain amount, and I don't believe that that's true for me. At least I had a large coffee cup.
Yeah. And you got a vein tag.
So what I did is I opened the door and was facing away from traffic in the parking garage. And the door was kind of creating a barrier between me and any onlookers. And if you were looking from behind, all you were seeing was my backside, so you're not really seeing what's happening. I start going in the cup. And then I'm realizing I have a lot left in the chamber.
Can't you pinch off?
Well, that's what I had to do, but I had to. It's all happening very fast. You see,
I see.
It's reaching the top, slowly going to the top, and I'm like, I'm out of room here. What do I do?
This is terrible,
and it is very difficult, I will say, to pinch as you described.
Once you've gotten going, maybe this is different for women. Once you've gotten going, it isn't going to stop.
Oh, I can start and stop at any time. When they give you those little cups at the doctor's office, and they're like, "We only want 3 ounces," you're like, zip, off.
Oh, so you're like a machine.
And then you're a machine. You can pull it off, and then you continue going. Yeah.
So I did manage to stop somehow. It was painful. It actually hurt my kidney to do that.
Yeah.
And I dump the cup on the ground.
This is just terrible.
Well, what do you do with the cup? You keep the cup?
Yeah, I would have put the cup back in my car.
Filled with piss?
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't put it on the ground. That's disgusting.
Just let it marinate?
Your car would smell.
Yeah, but at least it wouldn't smell for everybody else. You're impacting
It's a
everybody
garage
else.
in Chicago. It already smells like human urine.
It does smell like urine, and I always wonder why. Now we know why. It's because of Rob. This is horrifying, and thankfully no one is hearing this.
I did, and I
terrible.
took care. I did get a little bit on the pants, but not to the point where I needed to feel like I needed to change or anything like that.
This is just
So
humiliating. Wow.
But yeah, so good first day back in the
You should have
stay back in
I
the
love
office.
it.
The biggest
I love
flaw-
that you have re-entered the world.
The biggest flaw is you should have known you're an overflower because this isn't the first time you've gone in a cup.
No,
you
it's not.
always overflow, so
Yeah.
you should have a backup cup.
So much better though doing it stationary versus as you've seen me do.
Yeah.
While driving.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That requires like
That's
a whole
sort of like
takedown of the
a
pants.
lift and shift, and it's kind
You
of
have to kind of like
dangle.
lift up because
Of course.
gravity. You don't
Of
want to be
course.
like horizontal and peeing in the cup because
absolutely.
it's just going to spill all over yourself and get all
I
over
filled
the
your
seat.
cup. I get it. I know what happens.
So yeah, but other than
Wow.
that experience, honestly, Tim, and I don't know what it was like for you being back in a workspace maskless for the first time. For me, it was very surreal. And even though our office floor in Chicago, very beautiful facility, I have to say, it maybe had 5 to 10 people in a capacity that it could fill. I don't know, Carrie.
1,000, yeah.
No, I don't know, not 1,000, but
I mean,
that
total,
floor.
yeah.
Like, I don't know.
So did it feel
was
kind of
very
apocalyptic,
empty.
like weird to be there?
It was just very unusual to be maskless, and I'm still. We just worked out today. I was in a mask, even though it's not required. Like to not be in a mask, to be amongst others, to hug someone who you haven't seen in 2 years, to be in the office environment was just very surreal. It was very difficult to focus.
Yeah, that's what you said. You didn't do any actual work, just the urinating,
Just a
and
lot of going to the restroom.
eating. Yeah.
How about you, Tim? What was your like? When was the first time like officially you were back like maskless?
I haven't been maskless. The school has not yet lifted its mask mandate, so I have only actually been masked in the office to this point. That being said, the first time I went back to my office was September of 2020, and at the time that felt like it had been a really long time, and it was weird. But obviously, it had only been 6 months since the pandemic started. So for me, the intermittent going back to campus has been going on for a while, and it did feel weird. But I imagine it would have to feel so much weirder if it had been closer to like a year and a half or 2 years.
Yeah, it's going to be even particularly weird for me because I started a new job. I mean, same company, but started a new job like back in July. So all of these faces, all of these people I've only seen in little squares. Like I've met everybody virtually. So I'm just like, I think it's going to be weird. Like I think it's like, oh, you're much shorter than I expected. Like, oh, like you have less
I think
hair.
you should say that too.
Yeah.
Especially if someone weighs more than you thought they were going to. You should say that as well.
You're so much fatter than I thought.
I would yeah, right. You know how I am. I'm going to go over the top and let everybody know like the opposite. Like, gosh, you're so much prettier in real life. Like I'll make it weird. And I expect that. But I think I'll probably have to go in the next couple months too to DC.
We did
nervous.
some badge comparisons because my badge photo was taken like before I left. And I'm looking a little bit on the heavier side, but in a healthy sense.
I think you have looked much worse in the last couple of years than you do now. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Who hasn't though? We all have.
I have to say, just turning things back to movies, one of the other perks of my travels to Chicago is our office is actually located right next to where movies screen. You get screeners for critics at a theater right nearby my office space. Tim, for you, it's you would know it's the AMC River East. Most of the screenings that happen in Chicago for critics happen there, and I was able to get together with one of our contributors and listeners, Chris Trengove, to go see The Outfit.
And you loved it. Or you said I would love it.
I didn't love it. I thought you would love it. I really liked it. And it was Graham Moore, the writer-director and also writer of Imitation Game. Tim probably is aware that is a Oscar award-winning writer for the Imitation Game. Hung out with us afterwards. It was a friends and family kind of affair along with critics. So it was great to hear a Q&A. Just a really nice single location thriller, kind of Phantom Thread meets untouchables, if you will.
Oh, you said Phantom Thread, and this entire time I've been thinking of that movie with Daniel Day-Lewis with the...
It is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's Phantom Thread.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's a tailor for the mob, or as I found out, is a cutter for the mob, because a tailor is
Something
actually
different.
is a pejorative in the outfit making world. And you know what just clicked for me? Like only after I saw the movie, the outfit has a double meaning.
The
It
outfit
does.
Yeah.
has a double meaning.
Yeah, I was thinking of it as a clothing outfit, but an outfit is also a term that is used for. Very clever. Very clever, this Graham Moore, Chicago native. I believe that movie comes out March 18th, I want to say, Friday, March 18th. Highly recommend it for folks. Looking forward to seeing what Chris thought of it with his review. So,
Action-packed, Rob.
Yeah.
Action-packed. I was here with the kids, so making my list of the top 5 movies that I want to see before I die.
Well, let's get to that. Again, I mentioned that I struggled. Go ahead, Tim.
I said it wrong.
I want
I said
to
it wrong.
apologize. I did not expect this to be a confusing prompt. It's a stock phrase.
No, I know the phrase. I think I started over-analyzing it, though. And I made it what I wanted it to be. And I'll get there, because I want to know what Carrie did. And I think Carrie kind of gave away her thought process a little bit. And so it influenced, it made me overthink, Tim, what is normally a common saying of like, hey, what are the top 5 movies to see before you die? It's Carrie took it away, and I was like, actually, that's pretty interesting. So go ahead, Carrie. What did you?
I don't know what I told you.
I don't know. You.
So I took it.
Something slipped, and then I was like, oh. Am I not thinking about this the way that I'm... Because I wasn't part of your conversation, so I don't know where...
We just left it as that is the topic. But and Tim and I said, well, and maybe it even leads to a future episode of top movies to see before I die.
God damn it.
In a different episode.
I'm going to be part of these conversations going forward.
So if that's the case, I just took it as exactly what the words mean, which is to say... Let's say, Rob, you come to me and you're like, hey, Carrie, I've got 24 hours to live. I'm dying. What 5 movies should I watch? These are the movies that I would tell you to watch.
Perfect. Well, then no. Then you and I at least are aligned. I do not think we will be aligned with Tim.
Not even vaguely.
Oh.
So, Carrie, you took this as I'm
You're
about
dying.
to, like,
You're dying.
someone you know is dying.
Yes.
And they're like,
I need you, Carrie.
I've got 24 hours to live.
Yep.
I want a movie marathon of 5 movies.
Yeah.
What should I do to fill my life, my remaining few moments of life with like hope?
24 hours.
Yeah.
Well, hope is one of those things, but I have other criteria. I want to give you peace. I want to give you comfort. I want to ensure that you know that you're loved. I want you to know that this is not the end, that there's a blissful beyond. I want you to feel zero inkling of sadness. There can't even be one moment where you feel like, not even happy sadness. I don't want that either. Like that's a whole other thing. So we can't put like, no Fred Rogers movies, because that's happy sad. Like you're still like, oh, because Fred Rogers is dead. Although maybe it's happy because you get to go see Fred Rogers. I don't know. But I don't want conflict. I don't want drama. I want you to know that like you can just focus on sort of melting into the movie, into your last experience. So that's how I came up with my top 5.
So you're basically, your list is going to be like the drip of morphine.
Yes.
Like that sends you off into a deep lull.
Exactly.
Nice.
And I want you to have no hesitation.
You're in
about where you're
hospice
going.
at this point.
You're in hospice.
and
you're
you're
pretty
getting
drugged
your
up.
you're getting your morphine drip, and
Yep.
you're
This is sad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's not talk too much about the death part, because I don't want to cry again like the Titanic episode. But yeah, that was my
you dealt
criteria.
with maybe a topic for another discussion. Carrie had a very uplifting discussion with her family yesterday about like diseases and how
Oh
people
my
die.
gosh, another day.
Another day, but it is very
Hilarious.
fit-
Sounds
It's
exciting.
so fitting for
Love
this.
it. I love it.
It's so fitting.
Trying to
for
get like
this.
medical records from everybody.
I'll tease it into the conversation, but it's epic. It's pretty epic. So that was my criteria. So did you had the same, Rob?
I ended up doing the same thing. I may have veered off slightly. That I think my list ends up probably taking over a future top 5 that we could have done, which is top 5 movies about the afterlife.
Okay. Oh, well,
Because
see,
that is essentially what mine is, but with the
Okay.
same impetus of trying to leave the person who is dying,
Yeah.
with hope
yeah.
and something to make them feel good.
I agree, but I had categories of what I think is important. So I only really have one afterlife. Then I have one which is like happiness, like pure joy, like stuff like that. So I have sort of categories of how I would want to set you up for
I went meaning of life,
your impending death.
and afterlife.
Okay.
That's kind of the focus of my list here.
All right, Tim, where's your criteria veer off?
Mine is like basically a different episode, honestly. Carrie, yours are almost exactly the criterion I was going to use for movies before I die if we ended up doing that.
Well, that's because you only care about yourself. I'm caring about others.
which we now won't be doing. No, for me, this is what are the 5 movies I think people need to have seen in order to be able to be like, yes, I have seen movies. Like for me, before you die is assuming you die at the age of 80, you have 80 years before you die. Make sure you see at least these 5 movies at some point in those 80 years.
See, and I struggle. I that was my initial thought, Tim, because again, this is a very common thought process.
There's a book called The 1001 Movies to See Before You Die. And that's sort of where my head just went and stayed. And
for me, it became like, as I was exploring that thought process was, does this, like, it could easily become my favorite 5 movies, but then it could also be the 5 movies that I think you need to see in order to understand what film is, like the film experience. That, like what 5 movies would I want someone to make sure that they saw to understand film, and I was going to go like maybe by genre, like make sure you see this horror, this drama, this comedy. But yeah, then I ended up just like thinking about the afterlife.
But some of your favorite movies though are so tragic, so it's like even a movie like Up. Like I was like, okay, one of my favorite movies, it's got a great message. It does have a message about the afterlife, about purpose and whatever. But along the way, you feel kind of bad I don't want to feel bad for Carl Fredricksen. Like, that's sad. His life's sad.
I feel like I should add Up on my list.
No, because it's sad. And the beginning sequence of that leaves you bawling. If you're in hospice, I don't want any tears. I want you to just sort of, again, feel joy.
Nope. You know what? It's not on my list because I'm doing essentially, Tim, I'm stealing another episode topic, and my list has become the top 5 movies about the afterlife.
I love that we have 3 non-overlapping conversations.
There still could be some overlap. Well. I think Rob and I might overlap a little bit, but we'll find out.
I'm not saying lists won't overlap. I'm saying no other element. Like we're not talking about. It's like we brought 3 random lists of 5. It'll be fun. We'll see how it goes.
There we go.
Because mine was like I wanted to make sure I had multiple countries represented. I wanted to make sure that I had like a good mixture of like important art cinema, important like mainstream entertaining cinema. So mine is just going to seem very weird next to both of
Well, you know what, Tim? I think I also just didn't want that challenge to narrow film cinema down to 5 movies. Like, I am very. I feel like you're the most qualified to give your list, and it just makes me feel better because I think I would have. Yeah, I would do a terrible job recommending, like, just trying to figure out the 5.
Just Inception, and
I want to know what Tim thinks are the 5 movies that represent cinema that everybody needs to watch before.
Because that's the list you're getting.
Perfect.
Right. So, it ends up working out. Care, do you want to start us off with number 5?
I'll start us off. This had to be on here, but you know what? I think probably I want to start. So like, let's just say you're starting to die, like the beginning of your death. So
being born.
Oh gosh, Rob, dark. This is 24 hours. You're starting to fail. So I want one last burst of energy. I want you to feel exhilarated just one last time to take yourself away from your impending death. I want it to be action-packed. I want it to be fun. I want it to be drama-free, adventure, laughs, all of that packed into one. And that's why it's my favorite movie of all time. Number 5, Last Crusade.
Okay. You were not the only one. I saw that in the audience list that some people had some of the Joneses.
Maybe for a different reason, but because I think this should also be on Tim's list as well, based on his criteria.
And I feel like this would be on your list based on my criteria.
Yes, I agree.
Correct.
I agree. But
but this is the fear I had of it just ending up being my top 5.
But it's not. It's not. This one to me it fits the category of just like exhilaration, like a moment of like heart racing, heart palpitating excitement and adventure.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
And it's great.
Yeah.
And it's drama free. So yeah, that's my number 5.
It is. How in God's name is it drama free?
I mean,
So you're trying to distract the person.
It's about whether or not a father and son are going to patch up their toxic relationship.
But they do.
They do. but there's drama that is between there and them doing it.
I never really felt the drama. It always felt a little, I felt smoother than you're leading on. I didn't feel the drama personally. So, there is a little bit of the relationship drama with Allison Duty. Maybe you're right. So
as I slowly drift off into the great unknown, I do it peacefully because with pure enjoyment, I'll end up with a smile on my face.
Well, you're going to start with this, and then I'm going to bring you down.
Okay.
Not bring you down, but I'm going to bring you over into some other feelings and emotions.
Because this movie is an adrenaline boost type movie. So
Exactly.
You're going the wrong direction.
So I'm going to calm you down.
Also kind of has a little hope. Are you bringing me the cup of everlasting life? Are you going to bring that over to me?
Thank you. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Is this on
false
your
hope.
list?
False hope. No, it is not.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh gosh, you know what I'll do? Right as you're about to croak, what I'll do is I will give you the cup that caught the blood of Jesus Christ. I will pour water into your mouth so that you'll sort of get the illusion that you do have eternal life.
Good fake out. I
love that idea. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to do that. So yeah, that's my number 5.
All right. So my number 5, I want to just talk about editing in movies. Part of how I was thinking about my list was, so if we're doing what are the things that you need in order to understand film, you need a film that'll teach you about cinematography. You need a film that'll teach you about editing. And so my thought was, well, where do we go to see sort of the purest examples of editing? We go to the Soviet Union in the 1920s, the Soviet montage period. And so I picked what I thought to be the one Soviet montage film, which is a very, one of the historically most important periods for filmmaking. The one Soviet montage film that I think everyone needs to see. It's watchable. It's not kind of heavy with communist propaganda like some of the other really good ones are. It's just this kind of portrait of humanity in its very interesting messiness as it moves through a day in the life of a city. And that film is 1929's Man with a Movie Camera, directed by Zhiga Vertov. Sort of a kind of documentary because it's all just footage he captured in a few different cities throughout the Soviet Union, but then turned into this fast-moving, impressionistic montage of just city life in all its facets, kind of combined into this portrait of the world as seen through a movie camera of the title.
Wow. And you are not alone in that. I believe I noticed a lot of folks having that particular film on their list.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, this is the first time I've actually heard of it. I thought you were going, and I don't even know if it's Russian, but Andrei Rublev.
That's a Russian film. It's a Soviet film even, but I
don't know if it's a montage film.
You got to pick and choose.
Yes,
and we only get one Russian film on my list because I only got 5 slots and a lot of countries to fill.
And Tim, does this make that what you were saying? There's that massive list of the 1,000 movies you should see. Is this squarely?
I would
there?
be astonished if my 5 are not all on that list of 1,001 films.
Okay. Do you think it has Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
It might only have Raiders. It might have Raiders and Last Crusade. I don't actually know.
Okay. Good pick.
Well, to my number 5 again, my structure is I'm picking afterlife films, and this one I feel doesn't get enough credit, and I feel like it almost deserves a bit of a kickback from the heralded television show The Good Life, because essentially this movie is The Good Life. But 21 years prior, or even, maybe my math is wrong, 31 years prior, it is 1991's Defending Your Life, written and directed by Albert Brooks, starring Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep and Rip Torn and others. This is a movie where someone dies, Albert Brooks' character dies unexpectedly, and goes into heaven is presented as not heaven, but you before you go to heaven, you go to this kind of purgatory-esque state, like a holding place, kind of a waiting room, a judgment area.
Waiting room.
Yeah, a waiting room. Perfect example. And meanwhile, while you're waiting to be judged, your whole life is going to be presented in a courtroom type situation.
Gosh.
And it's going to be determined, are you eligible? Are you qualified? Are you a good person?
Yeah.
In order to make it to heaven. But in the waiting room is a pretty sweet place. You basically get anything you want.
Okay.
You get to eat whatever you want, not gain any weight.
Okay.
it's a fantastic, presented as a really great place to be.
Yeah.
Albert Brooks's character maybe like requires some defense, but it also is. He meets a fellow person in the waiting room, Meryl Streep, and they form a bond in a relationship. So it's a romantic comedy in that sense as
Do
well.
they
too.
both make it?
I'm not gonna.
I
do
really
they both
wanna
make
see
it?
this.
What is making it?
Oh.
Do they both make it to heaven? Is what you're asking me?
Yeah. Don't tell me. Don't tell. I can tell by your face.
This is a movie, Carrie, that you would really like.
I would really
You
like this.
you would adore this movie, Carrie.
I could
question
feel it.
about
And Albert Brooks, I don't know if you're familiar with his brand of comedy.
Is Albert Brooks the guy that is in that movie that was super racist that we watched with my parents and I was horrified?
He is in a movie where he's like a
I
really
might be
bad
thinking
person.
of Mel Brooks.
Oh, yes, that is Mel Brooks. Albert Brooks is the voice of the dad from Nemo.
Oh.
Why am I blanking on the dad's name? But the dad of
Mr.
Nemo.
Nemo. Mr.
Yeah.
Nemo. Oh, gosh.
From Finding Nemo, yes. So
is
yeah.
it sad at all?
No, this is Albert Brooks's comedy is I really like it. He's very sarcastic and kind of dry humor.
Yeah.
You would really like his sense of humor. He's done a number of things. He did I can't remember the name of the film, but he also has one where he and his wife go on like sell everything and buy an RV and then just go live off the land. And yeah, all of his movies are really enjoyable. I love his sense of humor. It's very dry. It's very specific. I think it's your cup of tea.
Based on the criteria that was laid out in the waiting room, of the three of us, who's passing?
Oh, you're making it, Care.
You sure?
Yeah. I am not.
No.
I think Tim has a shot, probably. I have some skeletons, Care.
I know.
I have some skeletons.
So here's the thing that I worry about. I don't have any skeletons, and I think on paper I'm a nice person, but honestly, I think a lot of mean thoughts. A lot.
I worry about that too. It's
Yeah.
like I worry about
Like I'm mad at a lot of
can they
people.
get inside your head and think,
Right.
like actions are one thing, like things that
Yes.
you've done, whole separate department,
Yes.
which I would fail as well. But
Oh,
if you
for sure.
if you're allowed inside my head, like,
I'm
my gosh.
swearing all day inside
Okay,
my head.
if that's the worst, you're making it.
Oh, really? You have
you're
darker
gonna be
thoughts
okay.
than that?
I have darker thoughts than swearing. Yes.
Like what?
Well, also to be clear, in the morality of defending your life, it's very utilitarian. It's only what have you done, not what do you think.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah,
Gosh.
it's how have you contributed to, and it's almost laughable because Meryl Streep's character is just like a perfect person.
Yeah.
Like so when Albert Brooks is, his life is like aspects of his life
Are playing
you
out.
get to it's almost like your life was recorded and you get to defend your life, as the title implies. The prosecution is picking things to say you do not deserve.
Okay.
And then you get to present counter arguments.
Oh my
and
gosh.
It's
I want to watch this so
It is
bad.
a really enjoyable film.
Defending your life.
Defending your life.
Okay, thanks. And
Yeah.
that's your number 5.
That's my number 5. Only going to get better from here.
Oh boy. Okay. This next one does get better for me. If you had to choose one actor to spend the last moments of your life with, boom, who's the first person that comes to mind? Hello?
Oh,
For both of you.
Oh,
Both of you.
Anne Hathaway. I just
Oh, what?
popped in my mind.
Okay.
Popped in my mind.
Tim.
I wouldn't want to spend the last hours of my life with an actor. I don't like actors very much as people.
Oh gosh. You're making this very complicated. Who's going to make you feel the wholest, the best, the warmest? Go.
My mother.
Oh, cripes. Oh my gosh. No, your mom's going to be weeping over you. No, your mom's going to make that. You don't want your mom there. Your mom's going to be so sad. No, you want Tom Hanks with you.
Oh, I see what you're
right
doing.
before you die.
Yeah.
So I had to have a Tom Hanks pick here. I was like, he's going to comfort me. His voice is sort of like an ASMR to me, even though it's kind of annoying, but it's not. And so I love him. I feel comfortable around him. When he's in any movie, I feel safe and comforted. He's like a blanket for me. So if I had to choose one movie that's the lowest drama, leaves me happy, leaves me smiling, it's got to be Sleepless in Seattle.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. I've only seen that once and I was depressed for days.
Yeah, there's definitely some sadness there, but I don't know. It's just,
Doesn't somebody have cancer in that?
Sure.
Doesn't some guy lose his legs?
Someone dies of AIDS in that movie.
Someone has AIDS, Rob. I don't. What?
Okay.
No.
There's a cocktail now. Like there's,
I would
there's
never.
treatment.
No, that's in Titanic category for me. I was so depressed after that movie. I never watched it again. So no, Sleepless in Seattle, love story, romance, pure fun. I love the kids in it, the whole thing.
So let's say Tim is dying.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's like, hey, Carrie, you get to pick my last 5 movies to watch.
Oh.
Do you feel like this is the list that...
I'd give
This
Tim,
is why I was saying, is it the royal, like who's the you in this? And
I will say this: Carrie's list would make me not feel sad to die because she's reminding me that the world is not a very good or worthwhile place.
This is...
It's like, I understand.
I would have pivoted and I would have given Tim When Harry Met Sally in this category.
Okay, that would have made me much happier.
I would have customized your death for you, just so you know, because I care.
So who's the you in the you?
Everybody other than Tim.
Okay.
All right.
Everybody else is going to love Sleepless in Seattle on their deathbed.
I feel like this is really you for you.
Is it?
Yeah.
I feel good about it. Yeah. I do. I feel like if I'm dying, I do want you to show me these 5 movies too.
That's
you know.
that's
And
fair.
I will say, Rob, if it makes you feel better about us discussing topics with you not there, we had talked about movies to see before I die. So clearly it does not affect Carrie's behavior if we have topics.
Oh, sure. Yeah, she just ends up doing...
Because she's just straight up doing that.
She's just doing what she ends up wanting to do, for sure.
I don't agree. I would recommend these movies to lots of other people. All right, Tim, give us your pick for cinematography for number 4.
So this is my pick for cinematography. Good memory. I'm glad you made note of that. So this is 1939's The Rules of the Game, my French film, my 30s French film, no less. And if you're gonna say I can only have one French movie, to me it's got to be from the 30s. It's a period of this swooning romanticism and very, very beautiful sort of soft focus gray images. And in the case of The Rules of the Game, just some of the gosh darndest camera movement you've ever seen. It's just this country house and the camera sort of floating through it and gliding through room to room, sweeping past rooms, and in the process picking up this large subset of humanity, both the rich people living in this sort of unattractively idle way, and then the working class people whose job is to keep the country house running. It's a very upstairs downstairs type narrative. Or if you've seen Gosford Park, there's a lot of this movie in Gosford Park's DNA. But yeah, it's basically what happens over the course of a shooting weekend as the rich class deals with their sort of weird little emotional traumas, while the workers in the kitchens and in the maids, servants and such go through their own sort of version of the same melodrama of people loving the wrong people and sort of causing anguish and angst. And really, really thoughtful, just look at humanity that was so precise and unsparing in its portrait of how the French upper class was kind of a bunch of idle layabouts. It was actually banned when it was released because there was the thought that it was so incendiary as the country was sort of gearing up for World War II. Again, this comes out in the summer of 1939. And it was felt that the satiric treatment of the upper classes was too mean-spirited, and it was not safe to release this film in a pre-war environment. Gorgeous film, though, really, really well done. You'll laugh, you'll cry, as they say, perhaps more of the latter than the former. So definitely wouldn't make Carrie's list. But this is just one of those movies that I just can't exhaust. I've seen it so many times, and every time I see it, I feel like I'm just kind of reacquainting myself with all of the spaces in this beautiful sprawling house.
You know what's interesting, Tim? Your last 2, I feel like, have not shown up on other lists, and yet they are in high regard for you for these various different categories. Is there a thought as why they haven't made it on other lists?
Well, most of the lists we do are not lists of just good movies. They're lists of good individual things that don't show up in a lot of these movies.
That's interesting.
So yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Your list is something it's almost like something I'm really excited to watch this because I feel like I'll have a really good insight into the critical elements for these 5 aspects of a film. So I'm actually really excited to take your list. This is maybe the first time where I take your list and maybe spend some time watching those films.
It's so kind of you to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time ever you say.
Yeah. It's backhanded compliment.
You keep me posted, Rob. You keep me posted.
Well, no, because if these are the movies where Tim feels for these
categories.
Like these things, this is what it means to be editing. This is what it means to be cinema. This is like the best what the world has to offer.
This is the last time we do that.
Okay.
I have exhausted that as my line of reasoning.
All right, Rob, give us your number 4.
All right, my number 4, not going to be on anybody's list, but kind of going on, continuing on with the afterlife. This movie deals with reincarnation. So you have
I like that.
a husband and a young father, he's a lawyer. Yes, I believe a lawyer, and he dies unexpectedly. It's actually a young Christopher McDonald dies unexpectedly.
From Circle of Friends.
Is he? I just think.
Oh gosh, no.
I don't think so.
Sorry, Chris
No.
O'Donnell. That's Chris O'Donnell.
Christopher McDonald.
Okay.
Shooter McGavin.
Oh, okay.
A young Shooter McGavin dies unexpectedly, leaving behind a wife and a young child. Good news is there's reincarnation, Care.
Great.
In this film. And this film presents reincarnation as, again, you go to heaven, and you are then reincarnated. But he's in such a rush to get back to Earth and to be reincarnated, he forgets to get the special shot.
That does what?
Erases your memory.
Oh, that he was in heaven?
That he had he erases his prior life.
Oh, so he comes back, remembers he was alive.
He's reborn.
That seems ideal.
He's reborn. It's ideal. However, it's like, so the people who are like in charge of processing people to go back to Earth, he's like, oh, you forgot your shot. Like, and they're like, oh, what are the odds that like you are still going to go in blank?
Okay.
But there could be situations that trigger your memory. It's the deja vu kind of thing. Like you're gonna, as you grow older, you're going to maybe start being drawn to certain things.
So you die, you come back, you don't really know who your family is. You don't remember me?
No, you go live your life. And
what are you reincarnated as?
As a baby. You're reborn.
Oh, jeebers.
You're reborn.
Who wants to start over? I thought
you
come back.
But you're reborn,
Okay.
but you don't have the, like, it's not conscious memories.
I see.
So, but they kind of like the people who are in charge of processing are kind of like, what are the odds that
I see.
that person in a world of billions that you'll end up crossing paths with your former life to trigger these memories.
I bet he does.
But in this movie, a young Robert Downey Jr., 1989, think about...
He's like 12.
No, he's good. Yeah, he's like probably in his early 20s.
Okay.
And his wife, Christopher McDonald's wife was Sybil Shepherd.
Okay.
Now kind of like his best friend was Ryan O'Neal, and his daughter has grown into Mary Stuart Masterson, who I don't know what ever happened to Mary Stuart Masterson.
She's around.
Is she?
She was
still
in Book
doing
Club.
Stuff?
She was in
again. Oh, like that's a long.
She was in.
Wait, she was in Book Club.
Yeah.
Mary Stuart Masterson.
The one that's Doc's wife in Back to the Future 3.
That's Mary Steenburgen.
Different Mary.
My goodness, Carrie.
You know what? I
just don't offer support.
Maybe I'm dying. I think this might be the end.
So Robert Downey Jr. grows up in Ohio, son of a shoe salesman or something like that, and finds his way again. Like it's fate.
It's like fate.
Fate is drawing him
serendipity.
closer. He meets Mary Stuart Masterson in college, and they become boyfriend girlfriend. Kind of weird.
Do people say boyfriend girlfriend anymore? They become boyfriend girlfriend.
I don't know. They get involved in a relationship.
Okay.
She brings him home for Thanksgiving.
I feel like you're telling me literally the entire
like the
movie.
First.
Okay.
You also haven't named the film.
Oh, sorry. The movie is Chances Are. And what a great.
Oh, what a good title.
Again, these are movies for you, Karen.
These are movies for me.
I kind of want to watch this movie. It's been a while.
Let's go. Let's leave right now.
And then suddenly, like, for him, you can see the sparks. Like, like this is weird.
Right.
Like feeling of familiarity, and also Sybil has there's chemistry between them, and it's done very well. Like it could be very weird. This could be a very weird situation, but it's done very appropriately. And needless to say, like he starts remembering and then realizing that he is in fact this former person has been reincarnated, and then like how does that work? Because
how does it unfold?
You have a daughter, but you're also your own person, and Sybil, and it just becomes complicated.
Have you seen this, Tim?
No, I've only heard bad things until literally this conversation, so I've always put it off.
I don't know.
It is not a movie for Tim. I'll say, but
no.
it is super cute. and I think that's probably for Tim its downfall.
And
it is.
You know, I love serendipity movies.
Yeah.
Like
It is an Oscar nominated film though. So it's
Whoa,
something I
for
would say.
what?
Best original song.
Oh, I was gonna say the Chances Are song.
Chances are.
No, I think it's.
Do,
I forget who sings it. Peter.
It's
Cetera?
Peter Cetera and Cher.
Yeah.
After all.
Yeah, I played that song on loop. I love Peter Cetera.
I know you do. Isn't
Yeah.
that the guy that sang at our wedding?
God damn it, Kara. No.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I mean, if you guys had him sing at your wedding, you guys had a very cool, very well.
That was Richard
wedding.
Marks.
Oh, that's
and,
right.
Like
Donna
no,
Mark
like,
and Donna Stevens. Donna.
No, just don't.
Just Donna.
Just don't help.
Sorry.
Just don't help.
You know what? I'm feeling a little cloudy today.
Peter Cetera is the lead singer from the band Chicago,
Okay.
and
Well,
ended
him
up
too.
going off on his own.
And Carrie, you would for sure know the song After All. Like, I think there's a
Is it
0% chance you
After
don't know the
all
song.
No.
that we've been through? No. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm just
that
gonna
song,
make-
yeah.
Oh yeah.
After all that we've been through, yeah,
Then I
that's
can
you're just not singing
make
the right
it
tune.
up to you. I promise you.
No,
Nope,
that's
I'm
not it.
wrong.
That's
Nope,
not
nope,
it at all.
it's
All right.
All right. Good pick.
Yeah. Do you want to watch this later?
Yeah.
Which one first, though?
Oh gosh. I just doesn't matter.
Okay.
Random. We'll draw out of a hat. I
I
want to
think
watch
we
both
need
of
some
those.
life-affirming movies at this point.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
You've had a tough week.
I've had a tough week, and yeah, it's interesting that I'm having these challenges on this episode because I have been Googling lots of like dark things lately because I'm having one of my bouts of hypochondria. So I'm like, I think my brain feels funny. So I've been Googling like, what does gray matter? Like, could I be losing gray matter? Like, I've been Googling lots of different things about brains and urine and lots of things, but
What? What do those two things have? Brains and urine?
I'm just like checking that everything is normal because I haven't been to the doctor in so
What's
long.
wrong with
Like,
your urine?
I don't know. I told my sister about it, and I thought she would. I don't want to talk about my urine like you. That'd be weird.
That's what all the cool kids are doing on this episode,
That's
though.
true. That's true. I just feel like I haven't gotten a checkup in a long time. And what if there's something that's just massively wrong and I have no idea because I haven't been to the doctor in like 25 years.
Yeah, Carrie does avoid going to the doctor. Avoidance, like the if I don't know something, you're totally like a stereotypical dude.
I know.
In that regard.
I know. I don't want to know, but now I've started to like WebMD things, and I'm like, again,
Oh, never use WebMD. Never, ever use WebMD.
I know. And I'm like, what if again, I have wine kind of regularly. I'm like, am I killing my gray matter? I've been like searching that up lately. I'm like, maybe I have early onset dementia. I've been like looking, and this episode is reaffirming my Googling. I'm like typing in all these notes about what I need to Google after this is over.
I do want to get back to Chances Are really
Oh, yeah,
quick.
sorry.
There was a movie with Nicole Kidman, Tim, that you may have seen called Birth that took the same
Oh,
concept.
love that movie.
Oh, you love that movie?
I think that's a great movie.
Oh, it's the same concept, Care, except not Robert Downey Jr., but like an 8-year-old boy falling in love with like Nicole Kidman, and then like may or may not have like some sort of like I don't remember. Maybe Tim, you can clarify if there's some sort of romantic situation that happens.
She is for sure trying to figure out if she's comfortable with there being a romantic situation.
Oh my
happening.
God, that is so weird.
Top 100 of the decade for me, that film was.
Holy crap.
Yuck.
I do like that director though.
You know,
Good director.
I'm not into 8-year-old romance, but I am into romance.
Well, based on the way you talk about Devon Sawa, I don't know that I believe that to be true.
There's some exceptions. That's fair. That's fair.
So what's next for you, Carrot? Your number 3.
It's my romance.
It's your romance one.
It
Sleepless in
is.
Seattle wasn't your romance one?
No, that was my Tom Hanks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a Hanks.
Everyone needs a Tom Hanks fix right before you go.
You need a hanky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey.
Hanky, not going to finish that sentence. Not going to finish that. So I was challenged in this because I need to have a love story without drama. And when you actually try and find those, they're very limited. Most romantic movies have some sort of conflict along the way.
So strange in film to have conflict.
I know.
Wow.
Don't want it. Don't love it, as
Sounds
you know.
like a very boring film.
What?
Okay. I'm curious what love story has no conflict.
No conflict. And the other thing that I really like about this movie is when I originally saw it, like I have never hung any of my self-worth on my appearance. Like my entire life, I've always hung it on, actually, I don't really know what, on other things. And what I loved about this movie is oh gosh, I'll say this woman lands a babe And it's all about like her kindness and her humor and all of that. And I loved that story. And this is Drama-Free Love, My Big Fat Great Wedding.
Just absolutely dramatic.
What part?
She feels pressure like from her family, like the family pressure.
She feels pressure to get No, but I'm talking about in the romance. He just loves her for her, even though she's a little bit awkward and quirky and her hair's all over the place and
okay, so
whatnot.
the relationship.
The
isn't
relationship.
Heaven. But isn't him being an outsider dramatic? Like he's not Greek.
Oh no, I don't.
No problem.
No, that part's fine.
Okay.
I would say that I would liken that to you. Do you think our family's drama because my parents think you're a little weird?
They are. I've been told by your parents that they feel very grateful that I put up with put up with you. Like, thank you for taking this charity case on. I appreciate it.
They have never ever said that.
Pretty sure those words.
That is not
exactly.
that. So number one, that's not true. 100%. I'm my parents' favorite of all things.
Oh, you're a great person. Oh. But relationshiply, it's a bit of a challenge.
What's the obstacle?
Having to take care of you.
This is Tim. These are not factual things. These are not factual at all.
I have no comment.
No comment
on brewing marital spat.
Right. On the other hand, though, be honest. Do your parents like me more than you?
Oh yeah. Again, you're absolutely more likable.
Just maybe you think less responsible is what you're saying.
That's right.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And I think people would take the likable over responsible.
Sure.
But like it does lose a little bit of its sheen.
Oh.
Sometimes.
You know what? What I'm going to do? What's the guy that's in My Big Fat Great Wedding with the long hair?
Yes.
I'm going to find him.
Yeah.
I think he would appreciate me.
He would appreciate you.
Yeah. So yeah, this one, drama-free romance. I left this feeling again like a hug. This is like a squeeze. I love her family, even though they're quirky and all over the place. I just love the family dynamic. I love Greek people.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't, do you?
What do you mean?
Like, that is not like if we were pick your most attractive type of country, like type of person from a particular country, like.
I'd go to Greece.
You'd go to Greece.
Are you trying to trick your wife into saying that the Greeks are just a bunch of uggos?
What? No.
I thought you don't.
I love Greeks.
The typical qualities.
Nope. Love Greeks.
Okay.
If at the end of the day I could move to one other country,
you'd like a Grecian man.
Yeah, I'd take.
But what's his name? Not Grecian.
Who?
The character that
John Corbett.
Yeah, John Corbett.
The whole point is that he's not Greek.
I'm not saying him. I just meant I want to be a part of a Greek family, Italian family. I love people where they're like boisterous.
Oh, the warmth of the family.
The warmth of the family. I'm not talking about aesthetics. I'm talking about warmth and snuggliness and love. Mm-hmm. I want that of an Italian or Grecian family.
I feel like it's a bit. That is my family. Very loud and opinionated, and I don't know if like they do not hold their opinions back.
Yeah,
I don't think you do well with that.
Yeah, I don't like that, actually. You're right. Actually, now that you're saying
I think it would be super overwhelming for you.
So I guess, okay. What I think it's coming down to is I have a friend who's Italian.
Yes, you do. I know who you're talking about.
And I love her very much. And I love her family very much when I pop in. I like to pop into the chaos. And you're right. I think I like to pop out.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you're having some catharsis
I'm
here.
having some catharsis, yeah. I'm seeing where the direction of my life is headed, and yeah. So My Big Fat Greek Wedding is my number 3. Tim, get me out of here.
So my number 3 takes us to Japan, which is kind of like Greece. It's an island nation, not unlike Greece. And basically, again, my thing is, if we're trying to come up with a concise 5-film sampler of the entire history of cinema, got to have a Japanese film on. It's one of the most important national cinemas. I've already done a French movie, already done a Russian movie. So I'm sort of gathering sort of the big filmmaking nations. And then it basically came down to a question of if I could only have someone watch one single Japanese movie ever. Like I'm saying, just this is the one. This is the only one. What would that film be? And I wrestled with it because I love Japanese cinema. It's probably my favorite national cinema, especially in the 50s and 60s, that sort of period. But I finally landed on a film that I believe I've talked about on this podcast before, 1953's Tokyo Story, directed by Ozu Yasujiro, which is a story that, again, it would be so far removed from anything on Carrie's list, but it's basically in the wake of World War II, an elderly couple in the country goes to Tokyo to visit their 3 adult children and learns somewhat, or rather the 2 adult children, the one widow of their dead child who was killed in the war, and learn in the process that their adult children don't really want them around and don't really need them, and maybe there's just not a whole lot of connection left, and that as time has marched on, it has sort of left these parents anachronisms in their own family, and how are they going to deal with that, and how are their children going to deal with that? Staggeringly good character drama, like my all-time favorite family drama, which is another reason that I felt it needed to be on this list. Certainly not a film that makes you feel up, like, at all. So Carrie would definitely not want this to be one of the last 5 things she watched before she died. Yeah,
it's I can't remember. I feel like this was on a list, but I'm not seeing which list it would have made. But it sounds familiar. But yeah, it also does not sound uplifting at all.
It is a crushing movie. It is a crushing movie. It will take your heart out of your body and just squeeze it into a husk in front of you.
This is just terrible. Just terrible. Again, Rob, you watch all 5 of these and then just keep me posted.
This is like my Cliff's Notes to become a film critic.
I know.
Like, that's what this is becoming. This list, and I want to see.
That's what my list was for.
Right.
Was like the sort of Tim Burton starter pack.
It's a starter pack, and like nobody wants my list of like become a film school dropout Cliff's Notes starter pack. Like
they want mine.
Your list is all over the place, Gare.
I feel like it's following my criteria more than any other list I've ever made.
All right, go into my number 3.
It's on my list.
I don't think this one is.
Okay.
But this one also deals, much like Chances Are. By the way, I've got the lyrics here for the song. It goes more like, after all the stops and starts, we keep coming back to these 2 hearts. 2 angels.
I told you you'd heard it.
Yeah. Been rescued from the dark.
I don't think that's a great song.
Oh, and Sharon Peter?
It's an unbearably cheesy 80s song.
Yeah.
It's a super ear-wormy song.
Yeah.
So it goes back to reincarnation a bit. Okay. Who does this kind of topic better than Pixar? In Pixar's Soul. Less about reincarnation. I mean, it deals with reincarnation, but again, kind of like an accident of actually.
What is your movie Soul?
It's Soul. They literally stole the Chances Are, and maybe Chances Are stole the concept from someone else I'm not familiar with. But this is like almost exactly like
number 1.
Oh, it is on your list.
Yeah.
Oh,
I told you.
Well, there you go.
I knew you were going to pick Soul because I knew you were going to have it on your list, but that it was going to be in the wrong place. And I was like, he's either going to have it at 2 or 3, and then he's going to steal it. But this is an absolutely number 1 pick.
This is the movie to show Tim, on his deathbed.
Yeah.
Number 1 movie he needs to watch.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Tim, you're the number 1 candidate that should watch this movie as you're drifting off, because you need to know that you mattered. Like the purpose of this movie is to know that after everything you did, how big,
or
how
didn't
small, or didn't do, your life was important and that your life mattered.
For Tim, more the didn't do, but yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
gotta be honest though, if I'm going to pick one Pixar film that I want to be the last thing to watch before I die, I'm probably going to go with Toy Story or Monsters Incorporated.
It's too sad. I mean, Toy Story
Monsters Incorporated?
It's all about growing up. It's all about like letting go.
Not the whole Toy Story trilogy, the first Toy Story.
I kind of forget how that ends. But like, I feel like all of them end up making me cry at some point.
You're tearing up now.
Of course.
Yeah.
Toy Story 1 does not have any moments that should make you tear up.
Doesn't somebody start forgetting about their toys and they get kind of left alone and they forget about them?
That is Toy Story 3.
Oh, okay. Then there's some sad element to Toy Story, right?
Not really.
Oh, I must just cry.
They hadn't started doing that yet. They started doing that with Toy Story 2.
Okay. Well, then this is a good pick. But the reason Soul is so much better than that is it's totally like, to Rob's point, it's an afterlife element. It's trust in the afterlife. It's knowing that you mattered. It's knowing you're seeing your cats and your dogs go on an elevator up to heaven. And that's all that really matters, is that you see them there. Like, it's the representation of the future. And I think that way it visualizes the transcendence would be a comfort to somebody that's dying.
I've only seen this the once. I'd like to disclaim that I'd like to a spoiler option for this so that I can have an informed opinion really quick. So I'm going to spoil Soul potentially by asking this question. So skip ahead if you haven't seen Soul. If you haven't
for
seen
only
Soul,
like 1 minute.
For 1 minute. All right, starting now. Does he die?
He
at
comes
the end?
back.
No, then see that's wrong. That's the wrong ending. And that like undoes the whole point of the movie to me.
Yeah, but it gives him.
If the whole purpose of the movie to say, hey, you mattered and you can leave this life mattering,
but he
and
died
him coming back.
Yeah, but he died in like a really unfortunate way. And
we all
young.
do.
No. We don't all die
but
in
see,
an
now he
unfortunate
gets
way.
the chance to go make the impact that he already had. You're saying he already had.
But I'm saying he's going to come back and realize it isn't about him becoming this famous musician and doing all this stuff. It's in the simple things. It's in the way
so he's
going to
get to come back and appreciate life in a better way.
In
so
the way that we all should.
Chance.
In
so we all should get
relationships.
second chances, unlike Tim, who's dying, is not going to get.
Basically, that's what I'm saying.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I love this
So
movie.
you just want me to feel really, really bad about how I can't go back over any of the things and redo them and get them
Yeah,
right
we're
this
going to
time.
wave to you as your soul is flowing away, and we're going to be like, boo, we're still here.
You're gone and fucked up, Tim.
We're going to be like, we already got your spot filled on the podcast. See ya.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Because that's what I would take away. So I'm glad to hear that we're on the same page, that we're communicating properly.
Yes.
Well, Tim has some work to do, but for the majority of these movies, I believe, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. That's alternateending.com.
Yeah, shocker of shockers, we don't have a review of Chances Are on our website.
Tim, I may have to just go on and assign it to you because it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Come over. Tim, I don't know if this will weird you out, but I love to watch movies in bed. If it wouldn't weird you out, we can all snuggle in, get lots of blankets and some cocoa and snacks, and we can all just sit like lined up 3 in a row watching.
I'm fairly certain that they.
I feel like our listeners thought we already watched movies that way, and I feel like you've just ruined the illusion that that's how we just hang out.
I'm also fairly certain that they took all of the young Robert Downey Jr. things from I think it was Iron Man 3 or 2, where they de-aged Robert Downey Jr. I feel like they took it all from this film.
Interesting.
From Chances Are. So if you want to see a nice, young, smooth-skinned, no wrinkles Robert Downey Jr.
I think he looks better with age, personally.
He's just timeless.
I would agree with Carrie. I think he looks a little bit too callow and jerk-assy as a young man. He looks much more patrician as an older man.
Yeah, too much of a pretty boy. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. Get early access and exclusive content. Make us watch a movie, pick your own episode topic, and more from our Patreon site. Celebrating their anniversaries, we have a slew of It's Nice to Be Nominated folks. We have Daniel Phillips, Daniel Toon, Grant Hagee, Kent Hudson, and LJE celebrating anniversaries. Thank you so much for your patronage. We're also going to be doing later this month, I believe, a trivia night or Q&A. We haven't quite...
I think it may end up being trivia.
Okay, trivia
we
night
had
it is.
a massive turnout for the last one.
We did.
And it was amazing. I still got last place, minus the person who dropped early. I beat them. But we had so much fun last time. So I'm hoping we get a good turnout again. It's some stiff competition, but tons of fun.
Speaking of stiff competition and hopefully to have a good turnout, we're doing an Oscar ballot again this year. So go on the site. We'll drop it in the podcast notes as well too, and fill out your Oscar ballot for a chance to win some goodies.
Some cash. No, get some cash.
Some cash.
So it's $50. It's $50 if
it's not cash. It's an Amazon gift card. But
it's not cash. You're right. That's not factual. So it's $50 if you answer the most accurately. So, which again is just a crapshoot anyway. It's different. From
you
year
won.
to year.
You won. At least are amongst the three of us at one point.
Cash, yeah. So again, no skill level needed.
Actually, that raises a question: if one of the three of us does better than any of the readership, do we get that $50?
No, Tim, you do not get the $50. Okay, you're excluded from this. I know you're not going to play now. I know, but and then we're also giving another $50 away to not dollars, still not dollars. $50 gift card away to somebody who just for playing. So very, very fun. We always have a good time doing it. So get out there, like Rob said, and cast your ballots. And then Jumping into a couple other things, Rob, I know we're still continuing to ask people to go out there and leave us a review.
What are we at now? I feel like people have been doing such a good job.
Over 100 reviews, so we're more than halfway to the 200 that we were working at. Really, really, really appreciate you going out there and doing that. We have a lot of reviews that people have left, and appreciate the ratings as well. If you can do that too. Just like NatCap83, who left us a review that says excellent reviews and always entertaining. Very nice. And also Girk Trey, who left us, this is not your average movie critic podcast. It's better. I love the topics that veer off course, probably like urinating in public places, which are horrifying. The laughter and the conversational style of the program. I'm not the type to see the latest movies in theaters, neither are we, and especially not since having kids, but hope to get back to it someday. And enough the blend, I've messed up reading this, and enough the blend of new movies and those from years, generations past. This trio also touches on all genres of film, as you've heard from this episode, which I find refreshing and enjoyable and adorable. Thank you so much for leaving those reviews. And again, if you can get out there and do that, we'd really appreciate it.
Also want to thank all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com, click on our Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since our last episode, here are the things that were purchased. Some beauty and grooming products. Had a Gillette Fusion 5 men's razor blade refill that comes with the Lubra strip.
Are we still only at 5 razors? We haven't crossed into the 7 razor.
No, I feel like we had a arms race a bit for a while there, and I think they've maxed out. I do like the ones that have the 5, but then the additional like single one on the back end of it, so that you can like get into different crevices, like where your nose meets your mustache.
Yes.
If you need to get into some tight spaces.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that for sure.
I also do it on nose hairs.
I had a barber not so very long ago do the back of my neck and the like under part of my neck with a straight razor, and I am now fully on the single blade train.
Oh yeah, nothing beats a straight razor shave.
Shit.
Yeah, I had a beard lineup. It's just to make sure that the line underneath your neared is properly even.
When did you have a lineup?
I do that when I get my haircuts.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because I could be screwing it up. I could be going too high on one side. It could be looking asymmetrical. We don't want that.
Here, put your chin up. Let me see. Oh gosh, that's super symmetrical.
Yeah.
Wow.
Straight razor.
Nice line.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, she does some work where on the kind of cheek area creates like a little bit like more of just a nicer finish.
Oh, and I can see that when you
Nice.
let that go rogue. I don't know if you know, but I think you might be part wolf.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Rob's facial hair will actually like creep up close to his eyeballs.
All right, good to know. That sounds horrible, and I feel bad for you. Bad for both of you, really, in that case.
Also had a beauty and grooming product, a short bath brush featuring natural pig bristles.
Oh,
Okay.
That's creepy.
right.
That's creepy.
I know what it is though.
11 3/4 inches long.
Is that one of those scrapers?
It's a bath brush. Yeah. I mean, it could be a scraper.
Yeah, like you scrape you exfoliate your skin.
So like a loofah, but made out of pig fur.
Yeah, I've never the pig bristle. I've never quite heard of that.
Good choice. Good choice.
Then we had a variety of books and textbooks purchased. Eye in the Sky. We had Balance Point, which is a Star Wars The New Jedi Order book, which is the 6th book in that series, as well as the 1st book in that series, Vector Prime.
Nice.
Clothing and accessories. Woman's Jamiroquai official Buffalo Yellow logo V-neck T-shirt purchased.
Oh.
And then a couple of food items. We had a Colavita extra virgin olive oil, 34 ounce. That's a lot.
That's a lot of oil.
It's a lot of olive oil.
Yeah.
Double check your purchase price on that, because honestly, the best place that you can ever get olive oil is Costco.
It's always Costco for
100%,
most things.
100%.
For most things. And then I want to throw this last product out to you two to see, is this something you would enjoy? It kind of sounds repulsive to me.
Okay.
But it is a product of Copenhagen. And Kara, when we traveled there with the kids, I think you knew that they had some like interesting licorice flavors. I don't know if you remember this when we went to their candy stores. This one is a salty licorice. Does that sound appealing at all?
People swear by it, and I think there is a space for the anise flavored candy, or rather anise flavoring. chewy candies that taste like that are just a tough sell for me.
Yeah,
Like
I don't think I can do
I
it.
like it in a cocktail, you know.
Was Copenhagen where we did that run?
No. The Copenhagen is where we went to the amusement park.
Amusement park.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We got
Yeah,
lost.
The gardens. I forget the name of the garden place.
Is that where we got lost and then
Tivoli
you
Gardens.
pinched Alice's chin in her bike helmet?
No.
No.
Gosh, you're just continuing.
What's wrong with my
we
mind?
even had like a little bit of a break so Carrie could
Regroup?
her thoughts, and it hasn't happened.
I just can't picture Copenhagen right now.
Copenhagen is where all the Danish people live.
Yeah.
Tuvalu Gardens? I don't know.
Oh, Copenhagen.
Oh,
We had that piece of
right.
pizza there that was so good.
I
That
know.
pizza and
Okay,
that
there
salad.
was yes, we did our first evening. This was on the way back.
Yes.
We did the
All
Tivoli
coming
Gardens.
back to
Tivoli
me.
Gardens.
Whew.
Well, speaking of coming back, when we get back, our top 5 movies to see before you die. And welcome back. We're talking about our top 5 movies to see before Tim dies. Oh, I mean before you die. Sorry, Tim.
I mean,
You mean me? Are you
I
done?
have seen so far every film we've talked about except for Chances Are, so it shouldn't take me too long to get caught up.
Well, very good. Well, what? Since I took Carrie's number 1, which was Soul. How about we go to your number 2, Tim?
I like it. So, as I said, one of the big things for me was it's a great big world. Many countries have produced a lot of wonderful films in it, and I want to try and embrace multiple nations worth of filmmaking. Hence, I've had in order a Soviet film, a French film, and a Japanese film. But I am now for my last 2 picks going to come back over here to these United States. Pretty much objectively the most influential and commercially dominant industry in the history of world cinema. So I felt it was okay if I had 2 American films, even though I was really trying to focus on as much variety as I could. But the 2 American films are going to be pretty different in that one of them, and this is my number 2 pick, is my example of a silent film. And if you were going to watch one silent film in your entire life, and I personally hope you watch very, very many because I like silent films. But if there's only one silent film that you will ever see, the one that is the most, I think, purely appealing and very watchable, and it was a huge hit because it's very audience friendly. So this is not like some sort of weird art film, and just gets at this like rich reservoir of just human goodness. And it is a lovely, sweet, romantic comedy. I think, I can't remember if I've forced you guys to watch this at any point, but if I haven't, Carrie, I'm sure you would love this film, or you would at least like it. This is 1925's Charlie Chaplin vehicle, The Gold Rush.
No, we did not.
Chaplin,
No, we have not seen this one.
Well, I think you should before you die. Chaplin plays a little prospector who, during the Klondike Gold Rush of the 1890s, traipses his way up a snowy mountain and finds a cabin and lives in that cabin with a much bigger, burlier, more sort of equipped man to survive this harsh winter. And it's basically how does the little tramp, who now becomes a little prospector, how does he survive this ice cold wilderness? And it involves shenanigans. It involves almost running out of food. And there's this very famous scene where Charlie has to boil and eat a shoe, and he treats eating the shoe as though it's like this very fine cut of beef from a fancy bistro where he like very fussily like cuts it apart and twiddles up the laces like spaghettis. And of course, along the way, he meets a beautiful dancer at the local saloon, and he falls in love with her, and she doesn't really think twice about him because he's just a scrawny little guy. And it's just a very sweet, hilarious, cute movie.
And
About
why,
almost dying in the winter.
That sounds good. Why this though over any other silent film? Like, what sets this apart? Like, it sounds great, but what sets it apart as being the one you should see?
It is so easy to watch it. Like I think even just among Chaplin silent films, I think City Lights is a better film. I think Gold Rush is an easier film to watch because City Lights gets into some very like thorny emotional territory, and Gold Rush doesn't really. It's very nice. It's a nice movie.
That seems like it would fit my criteria too, had I seen it.
I mean, let me put it this way. When I was not sure if we were going to do the list for me, that is the version of your list, I was basically deciding which of the Gold Rush and City Lights would go on that and which of the Gold Rush and City Lights would go on this. And that's how I broke them down.
I see. see. Good pick.
Well, I do not have a silent film on my list. However, I do have a studio that has basically done half of a movie in the silent film form.
Okay.
And that is actually, I don't know if that's this is a Pixar film. Yes, this is a Pixar film.
So
Again,
this is
I'm
your
going
one
more.
Pixar.
No, I've already had Soul. And this is
that
my
was Pixar.
second. Yeah, it's my second
Man.
Pixar. Dealing with the Afterlife, a movie that I prefer better to Soul because of the aforementioned discussion that we had around my problems with the ending of Soul.
Okay.
This one I think is a lovely movie, and that is Coco.
Oh, Coco.
Oh, Coco. I was trying to figure out what other Pixar film was about the afterlife.
Yeah.
I couldn't choose this. It didn't meet my criteria.
In what way?
Because it's sad.
Oh, it's dreadfully
Oh,
sad.
but it's
you
sad
cry
as balls.
so
Yeah,
balls
but
sad.
It's that
The saddest balls I've ever seen.
You live on.
No, it's the again. I don't even want to think about it. I'm not even going to think about the moment at the end where
You're not going to like my number one.
Spoilers. The grandma dies, Rob.
I know.
Yeah, but even beyond that she scene is
Where
just,
she again. So you're doing a morphine drip. Grandma was not looking so great for a bit,
That's
and then
true.
the song brings her back.
Oh, I know.
Just for a moment,
Stop. All right, let's just
long enough
let's
to
just
remember.
Pump the brakes.
Oh my
but
God.
remember, this isn't the movies to watch before grandma dies, because in that case, yes, Soul would make me feel better because it tells me that grandma's going to be okay. This is to watch before I die.
Well, then that's
and
the
I'm not a
thing.
good person like grandma is.
Sure.
Grandma's going to live happily in the afterlife with her family. I'm going to go to whatever Mexican hell is.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, right? It clearly there is no judgment because what's his name? The guy who dropped
That's a good point.
That's
dropped
true.
a piano on
That's true.
someone or whatever it was.
Makes it to the afterlife.
Yeah, well, he's living large.
Do you know much about Mexican culture in terms of like Dia de los Muertos? Like, is there a heaven and hell, or is there only an afterlife?
Well, they're Catholic.
Yeah.
So
there
I assume
is a
there's some
hell.
sense in which the like land of the dead as we see it in Coco is a like suburb of heaven in the Catholic sense. I don't know, but they're certainly they're a Roman Catholic nation.
Once you're forgotten, you go to heaven.
Oh,
or hell.
right.
And I don't know.
Oh, right.
I don't
'Cause
know.
that was
Well, because if that's
awful,
the
too.
case, then you'd want to be forgotten right away because heaven's got to be better
I don't know. Some of that.
because it's heaven.
Yeah.
I don't know. I told you that I was making my death wall after that.
Yeah,
It's
how's that
still-
going?
It's still in progress.
So what you're saying is that for the last since you've like the people have had no access to us to visit us now. Because you don't have that completed.
that's harsh and hurtful and
But accurate.
You have until November.
I have until November. I did, though, get together with my mom just yesterday to go through some of my grandma's things and the hilarity of it. So we got together. This happened a couple years ago, so I'm okay talking about it now. But
Oh yeah, you seem okay.
I'm fine. No, but so we literally get together and my mom's like, I need everybody to come over so that we can look through these boxes of stuff. And my sister and I were just like, oh my gosh, like we're not interested in doing it. But the hilarity of it, my mom starts pulling out the boxes and it's like labeled on there like grandma's Tupperware. And so we're like, okay, let's go through grandma's Tupperware. We pull it out. It's like Cool Whip containers and cottage cheese. And we're like,
Well, that's how old folks talk
I
about
know.
their plastic bins. They call it their Tupperware.
the hilarity was my
Losing
sister's like,
track that Tupperware is a branded product.
it's true. The hilarity is that my sister's like, I'll take a Cool Whip container. We're like
pretty
taking
funny.
this up. So my wall is alive and that we're still experiencing.
Yeah, you know what I'm picturing? Because of your failure to execute this in years is like the last few days of the dead that they're going up to that like checkpoint and like saying
You're an asshole. You're a giant,
the photos up.
giant asshole.
and they're getting sent back.
Hey Rob, what's your grandma's name?
Zofia Garber. Garber.
I've asked you that before and you're like, I can't think of it right now.
No, that grandma I know.
Oh, okay. What's the other grandma?
My mom's side, Christina, I think, right?
No,
No,
that's not right.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's going well. That's going well.
Babsha.
Just
No, I don't know.
Babsha. Just
Yeah,
Babsha.
Well,
Babsha.
that's the difference, though, between a very sentimental nation like Mexico and a nation full of ice cold pragmatists, like anywhere in Eastern Europe. Like,
100%.
Once you're dead, you're dead. You know, like
Yeah.
get the body out, dump it into the forest for the animals to eat it, and then never think about those people again.
Exactly.
That feels appropriately Polish.
It does. Rob doesn't remember names. I'm living with all of my grandmother's plants in my house.
Yeah, it's like you just don't
And-
talk about it. And that's an American thing too. This is the whole reason why I appreciate Coco as much as you do. Is it's not death is something not to be celebrated. It's to be celebrated in that and remembered. I think that's beautiful, and I wish I could not get depressed thinking about it. But that's why we're trying to do the picture wall. As well too.
Exactly. It's unfortunately grown too much lately. That's too hard for me to do it. So I am going to steer us out of this train wreck of Coco and steer you into what I would do and what I would give you. And that is, I would want you on the way out, right before I show you Soul, I would want you to laugh your patooties off as hard as you possibly could. I'd want you to feel, again, no stress. The challenge is I want you to be laughing so hard that your side hurts, but without stress. So you can't be like a movie like Borat. I'm not going to show you that because that's hilarious and funny, but it's like also tense and stressful. You're going to laugh from beginning to end, and that is with Run by Fruiting.
Oh my! So yeah, this is just your favorite movies.
This is not my favorite movie.
Yeah, you got Last Crusade. You have Mrs. Doubtfire.
These are not my favorite movies. I have a different list for that.
Are both of those in your top 5?
It's like I would say top 10, but I have other ones that I would do for myself if I was on the way out. I just watched Soul 5 times.
Yeah,
over and over. So yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire, which no stress. The one thing I thought about is it does deal with divorce, but it's a low stress divorce. And it got me thinking about another thing. So how do you guys think it will work? Like, Rob, let's just assume you die before me.
Mm-hmm. Now it's not looking so clear. Before it was like 100% chance. And as we learn more about your family's family's health.
So Tim, what Rob's alluding to is last night, as we got together to go through the Tupperware last night, my sister shows up, my aunt's there, and it's my parents. We're all going to go through these boxes. And, my sister shows up. She's got this stack of paper. She's like, "Hey guys, I need to go through some like medical questions." And we're like, "Oh." She's like, "Yeah, I'm doing this like test thing, so I need some medical questions." She's like, "When did Grandma die? Like, what were the dates?" This is my dad's mom who died when she was in her 50s. So this is years and years ago. Do you remember how old she was? When was her birthday? Where did her cancer originate? And now we're at the dinner table, and she's like, "And Uncle Steve, didn't he have a prostate thing?" And for like 5 hours of my family's medical history. The irony in all of this is when I do go to the doctor every 25 years and they're like, "Do you have a family history of any illnesses?" I always check no. Like, no.
Well, sounds like you get to start spending much more time with your forms in the doctor's office going forward. That's exciting.
Yeah, and I feel deeply misled. Like, one of the kind of perks of starting family with Carrie is she came to the table saying like she had these pure genetics, and I thought it would balance out some of the cancer history that my side of the family has. But it looks like we're just doubling down now.
I don't know. I think I'm pretty squeaky clean. I don't know.
So what I'm hearing is that the girls are going to be lucky to make it to their 20th birthday.
It's kind of how it's shaping up.
It's getting dark. Let's bring us back to the humor.
Hey, Tim, bring us back to the humor with your number one. And like in all honesty, this is gonna. So what you're saying, based on how the trajectory of this is your favorite American-made film?
I'm not calling it my favorite American-made film. Okay. I think it is the film that best typifies to me the strengths of American sound cinema. And boy, we just dropped Mrs. Doubtfire like a hot potato, didn't we?
I think that's a good place to leave it, but again, I stand by it for sure.
I'm glad that you find that movie funny.
Yeah, when you're not mobile, Tim, I'm gonna come right into that hospital room and I'm gonna start blasting Mrs. Doubtfire.
You're giving me a list of movies that has Mrs. Doubtfire and my Big Fat Greek Wedding. You are encouraging me to look forward to death, and that's really what your list implies. So I think that's exactly the right list.
Best medicine.
No, so this is a film I think actually you have both seen, because I think you have actually seen it with me.
The Third Man.
If I recall correctly.
The Limey.
The Third Man is not an American film.
True.
But no, so what typifies great Hollywood studio filmmaking? It needs to be spectacular. So it needs to have really, really high-end production. I'm going with it needs to be colorful, even though I think a lot of wonderful, wonderful Hollywood movies are in black and white. When I think of sort of like the ultra Hollywood movie, it's got to be in Technicolor. Those big, bright, glowing 3-strip Technicolor colors. It's got to be a musical. because that's kind of the quintessential, I think, Hollywood genre. Like, let's put on a show, let's sing and let's dance, let's do all this stuff. And so what is the American film that is best? All of these things, clearly, it is 1952's Singin' in the Rain, the single most important film to see before you die.
I don't know if we saw it with you. Maybe
I've seen it.
Maybe I definitely saw it in school.
Well, then I guess I'm wrong.
No. It's possible.
We saw it for a Patreon pick.
Oh, we did?
I think so.
Okay.
But Tim, I stand by this 100%
pick.
because it's also so filled with joy. Like,
I wasn't sure. I thought you were maybe doing Wizard of Oz. I wasn't sure where you were going.
Wizard of Oz would have been a very good pick as well. But if you told me that I could only show a person either Singing in the Rain or Wizard of Oz, I feel the tiebreaker is that Singing in the Rain is about movies. So you learn a little bit about how the movies work when you watch Singing in the Rain.
Isn't that the one with the gal where we find out that her voice is very annoying?
It's the one with the gal whose voice is annoying.
Yeah.
Tim gets his cake and eats it too because it's about the transition from silent movies to talkies.
Yeah. And it's light. The dancing, and I don't love musicals, as you know, but this is one that I really did like. And it, like the dance sequence that sticks in my head of them like being completely in sync, going back and forth, and then doing the leap onto the couch. Like, I think.
Good morning.
Yeah, I think that would be, Tim, what I would hope your last move would be to leap.
To jump. I mean, to be fair, if I tried to execute the dance moves in Good Morning, I probably would die.
See?
So it might very well be the last thing I did before I died.
It would take you out. That's the way to go. Truly it is.
So
for me, it's all about the moment when he grabs the lamppost and swings around the lamppost and it's raining. That to me is the one that I would want to die trying to execute that move.
Good picks.
All right.
Mine.
We're ready to close it out with my number one before heading to our audience picks. And if you have not been made whole and felt good now about your impending passing with Defending Your Life, Chances Are Soul, or Coco, this one should do the trick. It's made by is he an Academy Award winning director, also up for Best Picture. His film for this year is up for Best Picture. Sadly, not up for Best Director, which is a bit of a surprise. And the movie that deals, to me, with the afterlife more indirectly because of its I don't want to spoil it.
God's Not Dead.
No, it is Arrival by director Denis Villeneuve.
I would never force this on someone. This was tragic and sad,
but not though.
So yeah, but yes, it is.
But it gives you the. Can I spoil? Is this a spoiler movie? Like a movie I could spoil? I don't think so.
I think so. We've spoiled other movies.
Yeah.
And this is at this point getting up in age. I think it's
okay. So if you're interested in not getting spoiled, skip ahead like about 2 minutes. But Arrival deals with the fact of, by kind of thinking about language in a different way, it opens your ability to experience time all at once. Like, time is not linear. And because of the way that our language has developed, we think of time linearly. But if you can expand your mind, as Amy Adams does in Arrival, she's able to experience the entirety of her lifeline, like all in different places. So it's a very good movie, kind of with that theory in place, because then the movie itself kind of jumps around and makes the audience not fully aware of like their place in time, and it exploits that to great effect, I think, emotionally and in a dramatic fashion. Because
her kids died.
Because she had a child who passed away at a young age, but she can go visit that moment anytime she wants. Anytime she wants. So if I'm on my deathbed, like, that is something I will enjoy to think about and will try to invoke and be able to, in whatever the waning minutes are, like I can go back and think about my happiest moments.
Doesn't she get divorced too then from her husband? They don't stay together.
Because she brought her, knowing everything she knows, she still decided to bring her child into the world.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna challenge you, Carrie. In this moment, do you really think that is the thought of divorce? Does it really make you sad?
Say that again.
Right now.
Wait, say that again.
Right now, does the thought of divorce really make you sad?
That's the exact moment. I really don't like bringing the garbage in. So,
okay.
I will hold on to Rob. The thought of some peace and quiet for a few days, is appealing.
What is interesting, Tim, about Carrie saying the garbage in, it is interesting that I think both of us do this, and I think all people, there are certain things that we like to do least, and it's just funny how each of us like avoid doing them. I don't think in very rare times, I have not seen you like bring out the garbage or bring in the mail. Like that is just not something
that's on your docket.
See, but like unspoken. It's just because
it's like unspoken that I do all the laundry and
laundry
dishes
is spoken. I hate. This is to my point. Like I hate laundry more than you hate laundry. Laundry needs to get done.
The time element that goes into laundry is also very different.
Fair enough.
I would say.
No,
too,
I had no argument on that side. No argument. Yeah.
Care about you a lot.
I love you.
Yeah. Love you. Don't like you. No, just joking.
Well, that was. Go ahead.
I got to say, based on sort of the way you talked about that movie and based on kind of the way you've been talking about your list, a movie that I think you personally should see before you die, Rob, although I wouldn't put it on my list that everyone should see, but I think you'd get a kick out of it. There's a Japanese film from 1998 called Afterlife. I think you might like.
Huh. Okay. I do. You know what? I do like afterlife movies. There's Heaven Can Wait. There's like a number, something about the kid, the heavenly kid, or something from like the 80s or 70s where it's like I don't know. I just really love people's perspective on what is out there. I mean, we've done Ghost and Mrs. Muir. We've done the really famous one. You take the stairways.
Oh,
big stairway.
Oh, Matter of Life and Death.
Yes, A Matter of Life and Death.
Yes.
Patreon pick, I think that was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like exploring that.
I do.
That genre, and I've now preemptively picked my top 5 afterlife movies, which we could have done at a later time, but I did it now.
All right, I like it.
Well, every week we ask you to submit your picks. Based on those submissions, here are your top 5 movies to see before you die. At number 5, another great, I guess you could call it, it's an American film, because Kubrick was American, right? Just loved London, or like loved being in the UK, I think.
I think so.
2001's A Space Odyssey. At number 4, we had The Room. Bit of a interesting selection there. Kind of to your point, Kara, is maybe not just seeing the best of
The Room, the one that's like that bizarre.
Yes. Yeah, the bizarre kind of B movie, below B movie. I don't know, F movie, silly movie. We have number 3, another American big movie. Could have easily been on Tim's list, Casablanca.
Oh, yeah.
Thought about Casablanca. I was actually between Casablanca and For Singing in the Rain for that slot.
There you go. At number 2, Seven Samurai, if we're talking about kind of the foreign films there. And at number 1, Tim, what was surprising is you did not have, as an animation scholar, any animated films. And our audience felt that number one movie that you should see before you die is Fantasia.
He had Toy Story.
No, I
didn't have Toy Story.
Toy Story would have.
Oh.
No, I didn't have Toy Story.
Oh, sorry.
He had Tokyo Story.
Oh, that's right. Wait, so which one was the pick, though?
Fantasia.
That one's like a mind trip. I wouldn't want that at all. When those like pink pigs come out or whatever, that's frightening.
What do you think the audience rationale is there?
Are you thinking of Dumbo?
I don't think so.
Pink pigs.
Pink rhinos that are dancing with little tutus.
Well, they're regular colored elephants.
Oh, maybe.
They're wearing pink tutus.
Is that in Fantasia?
That's in Fantasia.
Oh, yeah. Too weird.
It's just too weird. Is it kind of like a flex, Tim, by Disney, like showing off what they can do back in the day?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Maybe that's my feeling as to the reason why maybe like if you had to pick one animated film, like this is the one to see because it's a flex. It's a flex.
I think if I was going to pick one animated film, I would pick Snow White.
I would not have guessed you were going to say that.
Well, our winner this week had some picks as well, and that's Christopher Brown, who had, in features only, had at number 5, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, or Man with a Movie Camera, which I believe that was your number 5, Tim.
That was my number 5.
Yeah. We also, Christopher also had Gajira, House. Number 2, Castle in the Sky. No anime either, Tim, for you. As far as representation of Japanese art.
If I had done Carrie's list, I would have had Totoro number 1.
Oh, sure. That's your blanket right there. That is.
And at number 1, Christopher had 2001: A Space Odyssey, and says after that I'd rush rush to get you the extraterrestrials to watch Plan 9 from outer space. Christopher, shoot us an email at contact@alternatending.com for details on how to claim your free movie rental. If you want to win a free Amazon movie rental like Christopher, be on the lookout for our top 5 posts. In closing, I want to thank everybody for listening. Head out to our Facebook page and like it, Twitter, where we're tweeting all the time, Instagram, where we're Instagramming, alternatending.com, and find all our movie reviews, podcasts, and more. YouTube and Facebook, where you'll find all of our videos. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google, and don't forget about Patreon. For next week, we're deciding between a little pass the popcorn, or possibly doing a top 5 and doing 2 top 5s back to back. So you will find out more. Check out our website and all of the social media platforms to see what we're up to, and we will catch you next time.